Good evening with your news, also simulcast on Fiesta FM 106.7. I am Joanna Rodriguez. A 20-year-old Orange Walk resident is tonight dead while his 19-year-old cousin is clinging on to life at the Northern Regional Hospital following a high-speed chase with police. During the pursuit, the men, who were traveling on a motorcycle, allegedly slammed into the police mobile as the driver lost control. Shortly after the accident made news and the men were admitted at the NRH, residents gathered at the hospital in protest of police procedures utilized during the chase. The individuals allegedly engaged police by throwing missiles. This led to police sending reinforcement to the area where shots were fired to subdue the protesters. We start tonight's coverage with the chase that ended in Sacul's death. Elmer Cornejo reports.
Jesus Sacol is dead tonight after he was involved in a police chase with officers attached to the quick response team that began on the Bliss Carozal Road and ended on West San Martin Street in Trial Farm last night. According to police information, 20-year-old Sacol and his cousin Jairo Guerra were seen exiting what they describe as a drug base on the Bliss Carozal Road. Both deliverymen were traveling on a motorcycle. Sacol was manning the cycle and Guerra was his passenger. Officers claim that as they followed the men, they observed what appeared to be a firearm in the possession of Guerra. The patrol unit, according to the cops, indicated the driver to stop by turning on the lights and siren of the mobile unit. But instead of stopping, the motorcycle sped off, and that is when a chase ensued. In an area of Trial Farm, Sacol apparently lost control as the police unit drove up beside him. This caused the motorcycle to collide with the police mobile. Both men were taken to the NRH for treatment, and shortly after, Sacol's family was informed of his passing. Today, Sacol's mother told us both men were at her house, located in Trial Farm, when they received a call and headed out.
Acá estaban mis hijos, aquí estaban comiendo como las 6 de la tarde. Aquí estaban adentro y de ahí salieron afuera. Estaban allá afuera y de ahí estaban platicando los dos ellos, son dos sobrinos. Y de ahí salieron, me dice mamá, voy a ir a dar una vuelta. Está bien, hijo, le digo, pero no tardes. No, me dice, ahorita voy a venir, me dice, y sale y se va, acababa de comer. Y le digo, hijo, no tardes, no vaya. Y sale y se va al ratito, ni una hora que tardó ahí en la vuelta. Y cuando oigo, regresan con la moto y salgo allá afuera y la policía viene atrás de ellos. Ahí van la vuelta, saliendo de acá de la casa. Están bajando, oigo que bajan corriendo y le digo, ay hijo, le digo, ¿qué pasa? Viene la policía atrás, los correteó hacia atrás, por el río, así dieron la vuelta. Y cuando oigo los tiros acá por esta vuelta por la iglesia católica, ya mataron a mis hijos, le digo, ya los mataron, ahora ¿qué voy a hacer? No puedo correr. Viene mi otra hija, sale a encontrarlos aquí, la policía los fue a corretear por la gasolinera que va así. ¿Qué pasa? Que mi hijo, yo soy su mamá, el que va a sufrir soy yo, y todavía me falta más el dolor de mi hijo cuando él llegue. ¿Qué voy a hacer? ¿Para qué me sirve ver como una caja ya no es igual? Mi hijo ya no me van a devolver, la policía no me van a devolver la vida de mi hijo, y acabaron con él. Me lo mataron como un perro allá, y de encima la policía ya no tienen lástima la gente.
As they received news of the accident, family members of both men headed out to the scene. When they arrived, both men were on the ground suffering from what they describe as serious injuries.
El mismo policía los tropelló y cayeron. Y la policía lo vieron, mucha gente, pasaron el carro encima de mi hijo. Todo mi hijo quebroteado. Y mi hijo ya estaba muerto en el suelo, lo empezaron a golpearlo, a patotearlo. Su muerte, mi hijo, es duro usted, ya no aguanto. Mi hijo lo mataron esos policías como un perro. Ya ellos no debían de hacer eso. porque mi hijo es un humano, es gente, no es un animal.
Llegaron a donde supuestamente pues la policía los había chocado a ellos, ¿no? Y ellos estaban tirados en el suelo, tanto mi nieto como el otro muchacho estaban tirados. No, la ambulancia no llegó a buscarlos a ellos. Mi hijo tomó la decisión de levantar a su hijo y al otro muchacho, porque los dos de ellos son primos hermanos. Los levantó y los llevó al hospital. Y allá en el hospital fue cuando llegaron que supuestamente ni los querían atender inmediatamente, porque les están poniendo muchas cosas encima de ellos, lo cual yo no le puedo decir qué verdad, qué mentira es, que están diciendo que es por droga, que ellos llevaban droga, que ellos tenían arma. Hasta donde yo puedo hablar de mi nieto aquí que yo sepa, él no mantiene arma. Y que él venda drogas, él no vende drogas, hasta donde yo sé.
In their report, cops claim that during the pursuit, they observed as Guerra threw away an object. After the accident, the police report states that cops returned to the area and retrieved a 9mm pistol. But Guerra's grandmother, Albina, refutes police's claim. She says her grandson was not in possession of a firearm. Reports suggest that Guerra was carrying a waste bag which he utilizes for his delivery service.
Ahora dicen que andan diciendo que mi hijo andan con pistola, que andan llevando droga. ¿Qué droga usted? Si mi hijo ni sabe ese, sí tiene su vicio, pero aquí en la casa cuando viene su trabajo. ¿Qué pistola? ¿De dónde va a sacar pistola? ¿Dónde? Mi hijo solo su trabajo en su casa, pero los policías no hayan que decir para lavarse las manos, para ganar, que no fueron ellos que mataron mi hijo.
¿Por qué piensa usted de que no se pararon para la policía cuando la policía les indicó que pararan?
Pues yo no sé por qué, porque la mismo motivo. Si mi hijo lo van agarrando porque él trabajaba así repartiendo comida en moto. Él paró porque chocaba y le dije que pare, que ya no trabaje de eso. Siempre lo agarraban, me lo lastimaban, me lo pegaban, lo agarraban cada rato. Por nada, por simple cosa. Es que los policías no hayan que hablar, no hayan que decir.
Gente miraron bastantes cosas y gente dicen que la policía iba disparando detrás de ellos cuando ellos se iban. Porque supuestamente los dos muchachos, los dos nietos se acababan de quitar de la casa de la otra abuela. Ellos iban, no sé si a comprar, si a hacer mandado, qué, pero se iban a hacer algo. Y desde ese momento que se quitaron, dice que parece que no tardó cuando la policía los empezó a seguir. Yo no sé si la policía ya los tenía fichado por algo, o yo no sé si parece que un incidente pasó durante el día, ayer el lunes acá, y que supuestamente que eran dos muchachos en una. Y lo que yo le puedo decir, toda la mañana mi nieto no salió, mi nieto se quitó de la casa hasta como las 3 de la tarde. Es que si es por culpa de otros que estaban haciendo cosas, yo no le puedo decir, pero que yo sé, mi nieto se quitó de aquí. Porque yo, ¿para qué voy a decir mentiras? Lo que es, y que sea Dios que haga lo que va a hacer.
According to Gonzalez, her son was planning to celebrate his baby boy's first birthday on August 8. Now, that will remain a promise never to be fulfilled.
Ese más me duele, porque mi hijo todavía me dijo, mamá me dice, ya va a cumplir un año mi nene, vamos a hacer algo, está bien. Esa es su voz de mi hijo, me duele demasiado. Ay, Dios mío, ¿qué hago? Dime usted, ¿qué hago? El día que le maten un hermanito le va a doler bastante. Saliendo de su casa, hablando bien. Eso es lo que más me duele mi hijo, porque sale sin decirme, mamá, ya no voy a regresar.
The family is clamoring for justice and are expecting that the officers involved are held accountable for Sekul's death.
Me lo hubieran agarrado, me lo hubieran llevado. Yo sé que va a salir, pero ahora para qué me lo mataron, le quitaron la vida a mi hijo. ¿Y ahora qué hago? ¿Qué hago? Ya no me pueden devolver a mi hijo. Ya no puedo hacer nada. Quiero justicia por mi hijo, quiero justicia. quiero que esos policías pagan de su muerte de mi hijo.
La ley, si no hace justicia acá, porque siempre pasa de que buscan en qué culparlos, en qué condenarlos, y sea de lo que sea, lo que yo estoy diciendo que lo que es así, pues que se hagan responsable de lo que es, pero de lo que es injusticia, tampoco no puedo decir que les cobren o les carguen algo. Uno ya murió, ¿qué le van a cargar? El muerto supuestamente no puede hablar, él no puede defenderse, él ya se fue. Pero al otro uno le van a echar cargo de todo. Y si es una injusticia de aquí, del hombre, pues que sea Dios que haga la justicia. Y yo estoy confiada y confío en que Dios va a hacer justicia.
The Belize Police Department has launched an investigation into the matter. Elmer Cornejo, Ctv3 News.
Details surrounding the exact cause of Sokol's death and the condition of Gera are yet to be revealed. The police department, however, has launched an investigation to determine the sequence of events that led to the fatal crash. While the details are still unclear, today, Commissioner of Police Chester Williams told the media what his department has been able to unearth so far.
Sometime around 8 p.m. thereabouts, police responded to information of two persons on a motorcycle that, according to the police, had just exited the yard of a known drug dealer. And when the police saw the two individuals on the motorcycle, according to the police, I was not there. They're saying that they saw the pillion rider with what appeared to be a firearm. The police pursued them with the lights and siren on, indicating for them to stop. And despite the police using lights and siren and indicating to them to stop, they did not stop. The pursuit continued through Trial Farm and ended up in front of a gas station, where, according to the police again, the motorcycle rider lost control of the motorcycle and collided into the fender of the police vehicle, falling to the ground. Both persons, the rider and the pillion rider, were taken to the Orange Walk Hospital, where I think the rider is the one who later succumbed to injuries received as a result of the accident. At this time, we have dispatched members of PSP and CIB to Orange Walk to investigate the matter properly. At this time, I'm not going to say, or I'm not in a position to say what actually happened. I will await until I have received a full report from the investigating officers, and then I can brief the media further. What I'm saying now is just what I have been briefed by the police officers who were a part of that pursuit.
Sokol lost control of the motorcycle after colliding into the left-hand side of the police mobile. Witnesses claim otherwise. Campo Williams says all reports are being investigated with the aim of finding the truth.
I want to find that out likewise myself, so I have asked the investigators to look to see if there's any surveillance cameras in the area, or if there were any witnesses in the area when it happened who will be able to shed more light on what actually transpired.
The family is also claiming that the police beat up the two young men after the accident.
I'm not aware of that, no. Can't say.
Does it alarm you that this is the second time in, I said, recent months that someone passed away after a pursuit in Orange Walks?
Well, this incident cannot be assessed as the first one. Again, When you're in a situation and you are being pursued by the police, police are in a marked police vehicle. They have the lights on, the siren on. The proper thing to do is to stop. No, I'm not saying this to justify the police actions if the police are wrong. I cannot say if they're wrong or right at this time. Like I said, I'd rather wait until the investigation is over. But just as a general information to the public, when you are being pursued by the police, you know it's the police, just stop and see what the issues are. It makes life much easier for both sides.
While reports indicate that cops shot at the men during the pursuit, the compol could not confirm or deny that allegation. He did clarify, however, that insisted of a 9mm pistol being found on the area as cops claim it was a pellet gun that was recovered as cops returned to the area where they allegedly saw Guerra throwing an object.
From what I'm told, no shots were fired.
Was any firearm recovered?
The police did recover a firearm on the scene. They had said that prior to the accident, the pillion rider threw an object away, and when they went and checked, they found a firearm, which is it looks like a 9mm pistol according to them, but it turned out to be a pellet gun.
I guess the question is how the officers explained how the motorcycle was able to crash into the front of the vehicle if they were, speeding away.
I still want to find that out likewise myself, so I have asked the investigators to look to see if there's any surveillance cameras in the area, or if there were any witnesses in the area when it happened who will be able to shed more light on what actually transpired.
The family is also claiming that the police beat up the two young men after the accident.
I'm not aware of that, no. Can't say.
Does it alarm you that this is the second time in, recent months that someone passed away after a pursuit in Orange Walks?
Well, this incident cannot be assessed as the first one. Again, when you're in a situation,
Viewers might recall this is not the first time that a high-speed chase between cops and civilians ends in death here in Orange Walk. In March of this year, 19-year-old DeAndrea Dale-Chi was shot dead by officers during a high-speed chase. It is an incident that led to criminal and internal investigation. But with history repeating itself, the compol says the department is looking at implementing certain methods that will ensure cops adhere to their line of duty no matter the circumstances they face.
there are things that we will do internally to allay these issues. Maybe it was stem it to some extent. Like, for example, I just gave instructions to Mr. Guzman to see how we can install dash cameras on our police vehicles. Dash cameras will help in instances where they are pursued, as it will give us an appreciation in terms of what the conduct of the police were or is during the pursuit. In the absence of that, then we have to rely on what the police officers are saying, or if there are any witnesses around, what they are saying. And unfortunately, sometimes we don't have that. So we believe the dashcam is going to be a great help in that respect.
But wouldn't it provide, or it would have the same problem as the body cams, where there's no structure in place? The officers go out, maybe they have on the body cams, but what do they do with that footage afterwards? If it's just erased, does it go into a database so that it can be checked afterwards?
They do go into a database. That is, every time the tour of duty ends, the body cam go to the station and the information is downloaded from the body cam to a computer system. and we keep that for up to 2 weeks before it is discarded from the system.
And how are these body cams distributed? Like which officers, like why were these officers wearing body cams?
They had body cams, but again, if you're sitting down in a vehicle, the body cam will not be able to pick up what is happening outside of the vehicle.
As we told you earlier, the incident that unfolded between Sakul, his cousin Gera, and cops sparked protests at the Northern Regional Hospital. As relatives and friends gathered at the NRH to receive news about the condition of the men, they outburst in anger as they questioned the necessity of the chase and even claimed that, contrary to reports, it was a waste bag that Gera was carrying and not a gun as reported by cops. The situation escalated when friends of the delivery men gathered at the NRH and began revving their cycles in a silent zone area. They too were protesting the action of the cops. Soon after, the angry crowd began throwing missiles at the officers and towards the hospital. This led to the cops requesting for reinforcement. And to subdue the protesters, warning shots were fired. The entire incident was captured on video, and today Campo Williams spoke about the confrontation.
There was an issue at the Northern Regional Hospital in the aftermath of the passing of the young man. Police were called. We had sent additional police from Benopan to Orange Walk to assist last night. And from what I observed on the footage, it shows that the police did exercise great restraint in the circumstances. We were able to hold the area until the crowd decided to disperse without any incident. So I think that is commendable on the part of the police.
Any arrests regarding to that incident there? Or no?
No, we have not, and I don't think we're going to arrest anybody unless if there is some damage to property. And the hospital authority would have reported to the police, then would have to investigate, and then who needs to be charged will be charged. But as of now, there have been no reports.
It is uncertain if the Commissioner of Police will visit Sakul's and Gera's family. Opposition leader Shine Barrow today also weighed in on this weekend's deadly police encounter, which claimed the life of Jesus Sakul. The incident and the many others that have unfolded involving police and civilians are products of inadequate leadership within the police department, all the way up to the Minister of Police, says Barrow.
My deepest sympathies to the family of Jesus Sakul, and it again speaks of the poor leadership of the Belize Police Department under the minister, because everything starts and stops at the top with the executive. There is a problem in the ministry. This is not the first such incident. We had an incident in Orange Walk a few months ago where a teen was gunned down unnecessarily, so excessive use of force. And while we must hold the individual officers accountable, I believe the police officers are only good as their leadership. And so you have a commissioner that he is defense attorney, so he makes excuses for everything. And you have a minister of police that is in over his head and has no reasonable solutions, has implemented no such solutions. You go back to last year when the gentleman from Corozal died in custody in the van. You go to Ladijillit. Again, we elect members of parliament to form the executive so that these ministers can come up with solutions. Crime is everybody's problem, but this government had a mandate of citizen security, and they promised convincingly, with absolute certitude, that they could solve the crime problem, and they have not done that.
And from a fatal traffic accident, we go to a murder that occurred in the village of Guinea Grass in Orange Walk. It is one that has sent shockwaves across the community in Orange Walk South as family members are involved. The incident unfolded on Saturday evening following a domestic dispute between the victim, 19-year-old Jael Darrell Jimenez, and his common-law wife, Brianne Bull. The situation allegedly led to Bull's father, 41-year-old Derek Bull, pulling out his licensed firearm and fatally shooting Jimenez on the chest. Today we spoke to a distraught Brianne Bull who told us what transpired on that dreadful Saturday night.
I was home there. My boy come. Then he tell me he hungry. And I tell him, well, let's go buy burritos. Then we gonna buy burritos. We reach the place. Then he reach right there. Then he tell he Benaka. Then he gone. I don't know he talk to him man. Then he come. He vex. I see he vex. And I tell him what happened. He tell me nothing. And I ask him again what happened. He tell me nothing. And I tell her, okay. Then I gone and get the burritos. Then he made a reverse and I tell him mine because vehicle come and scratch I tell her. Then he tell me, he never pay me mine. Then he gone. Then we come down to home. He made it come hard and I tell him, Jael, relax yourself, I have the baby right here. Then he tell me, ¿tienes miedo morir? Yo no tengo miedo morir. I tell him, relax because the baby is right here. In Spanish. Then until we reach home, he slammed to the garage. And I tell him, wait, I will come down. Wait, stop, I tell him. Then he take and he punch me right here. That when I come off from the vehicle and I gone up on the next side and I tell him, relax yourself. You always try to chance me, I tell him. Then he take and he made it choke me out. And I tell him, he let me go. Then I hear his brother come. The brother come, he come, let him go. Then I hear he gone call, make a call. I guess that with the power, man, he tell me, ven a ver ellos, están peleando como perros y gatos. Then he come back again. Then he made a try hold, he said that he let me go. But he made a hold my hand. I tell him, Jael, suéltame, ya no voy más. He made a choke me. And I feel like if I can't take my breath back. I made a scream for me, he let me go. Then he may never want to let me go. Then he tell me, vete la dame mi dinero y vete la And I tell him, sí, te voy a dar tu miseria de dinero because he only me gave me $70. And I may want to clear up my bills. And I tell him like that because I'm vexed. And then I take my phone and my burritos and I got in that room.
A call made to Brianne's father brought him to her home, and that is when all hell broke loose.
I hear a vehicle come and I thought it's my dad. Then I come out and see my daddy made go up towards his big brother, Andy Jimenez. Then I tell my daddy, relax, that no he. Then I tell my part tell he, if I alive, nobody will come chance my picnic them. And I tell my daddy, relax, that no he. I just have a small argument with Jai Jimenez. And then I made come down towards the house again. And then my family tell me things. If you can't live with him, let's go home. Because he can continue with you to picnic them. And I only have my head stuck down because I know I upset my daddy. I never upset my daddy. I know well good how my daddy go. He ignorant. And then I just have my head like this here. Then I see him come, he got in the house and come back again from the door. Then my daddy made tell me, all of them boy, mama auntie and them. When I hear he made start telling me and I got and I hug him, relax baby. Vamos a la cama, amor, I tell he, because I know my pa ignorant, and I know I don't want, and I never want my pa hurt he or something.
The case is one that has Brianna lost the two most important men in her life. It is also one that has her between a rock and a hard place as she is one of witnesses to the case.
He was my everything. Through ups and downs, he was my everything. The good and bad time, I was there for he and he for me. I don't know if the family never want me, never with he. He me want live up and he tell my pan, I mean I mantiene, he me want live up behind. Then when I hear the gunshot gone off, when I see he don't get shot right there, he me drop on my chest. And that was the worst day ever for me because he was my boyfriend. And my pa was my pa. He was always there for me as well. He always helped me out with my next baby. Always. Because I'm always there with him. He tell me that he can maintain my baby. I'm there with him because I love him. My daddy me used to maintain my next picnic. He only me maintain his own baby. Never left him. He used to tell me that he don't want to maintain no picnic with enough here, and I tell him, I know what tell you maintain my baby. I was say, oh, I want to maintain my next picnic because I can't leave my picnic for you as well. I tell you, he me always carry baby everywhere with him. He go as he get up, he wake up the baby with one kiss. Or as she get up, she bite the daddy and he tell he dada dada. I feel hurt because my baby still without daddy, me without he, and without my pa. It was always there for me. The two of them was always there for me. I know my daddy did never mean to do that because them two was always together. My pa me used to drink with he. My pa me used to lend his vehicle to he. My pa build a room for me and he for make we stay because my pa say, I know none of them people want you, so you're not going out from right here. I will build a room for you and he come live with you right here.
And as Brianna prepares to lay her partner to rest, she also has to deal with the fact that her father is behind bars tonight for defending her. According to Bull's legal representation, Dickie Bradley, his client's intention was not to kill, and the investigation will be able to demonstrate that with facts. Bradley also commented on the issues surrounding Brianna having a hard time getting a doctor to certify her injuries.
Common law says that her abusive husband was drunk and she was begging him to just relax himself and calm himself a bit, no? So it is a tragic situation. There are two young children and the common law is only 19 years of age. And I don't want to turn into a preacher, but domestic violence situation and alcohol is causing enough suffering in many, many homes. And this latest unfortunate situation is one more example that these things ever so often turn out to be fatal. She was being choked. You can take a picture of her injuries. The police were helpful enough to have given her what they call a medical legal form, which persons who have been injured in any kind of incident would go to the hospital and a doctor would certify what is the condition of the person and she has been going there for the last 2 days and can't see a nurse or a doctor. And they say it's because the person who is the gatekeeper is from the village and is treating her bad, but the mom was saying that they did offer an explanation that they are swamped with a lot of patients that are being attended to, but she needs to be able for a doctor to certify the injuries, because another year or two from now when we get into the court, the judge or the jury might want to know the extent of the violence against the young lady and several other factors which would be helpful. No? So I don't want to get into any more details because I'm going to visit the area right now. But I would just say that the whole thing is most unfortunate, and this is not the kind of violence that comes out of people who are members of gang or people who are fighting over drugs, and this is a domestic violence gone very, very wrong. The sister was present when her other sister was being choked and beaten, and she's the one that made the call. But the father has gone there numerous times and took his daughter away. And he has never once pulled out his licensed firearm, never fired a shot, never made any kind of threats that next time I have to come back here, that type of thing there. It sounds to me like it's more an accident. It sounds to me like, well, the witnesses saw the young man had his hand behind his back like he was hiding something. So I don't want to start to lay out the defense already, but the main thing that always strikes me is the sad situation where alcohol and domestic violence is a big player in situations of this nature.
We found out that the couple had been dealing with a bittersweet relationship since the onset. As a result, several reports have been made to the police regarding domestic abuse. Police investigations are still ongoing at this time, and no date has been set out for Derek Bull's appearance in court. While we were in Guinea Grass today, we sat and spoke to the mother of now deceased 19-year-old Jael Darrell Jimenez. Irene Jimenez told us she had just arrived from her ranch when she received a call informing her youngest son was in danger. According to Irene, she headed to her son's home located in the other side of the village. As she lighted her vehicle, she heard a gunshot.
Del rancho. Mi marido se fue arriba, yo me quedé abajo, me eché un baño. Cuando mi marido recibió una llamada donde mi otro hijo le decía, pa, dice, ven acá, dice, en la otra casa porque están peleando ellos, dice.
¿Ellos quién?
Que era mi hijo con su mujer. Ahora, pero con él lo llamaron, él oyó atrás que decían, suéltalo, Brianny, decía. Y él eso lo dijo, vamos, dice, a ver qué están haciendo. Pues nosotros los fuimos. Yo que voy bajando del pick-up 3 pasos, cuando oí, ¡bau! Dije yo, ¿será que mi hijo está tirando piedras o está tirando botellas? Dije yo, me caminé ligero y me voy. Yo que voy y espío, hice así, mi hijo se está cayendo con un tiro en su pecho. Pero al llegar, antes que yo llegue ahí, el hombre que lo hizo está saliendo. Y ya está saliendo para salir a la calle porque está adentro del cerco. Cuando yo lo alcancé, yo le empecé a jalar su camisa y yo le dije, ¿qué tú le hiciste a mi hijo? Le digo, ¿qué tú le hiciste? El hombre jaló su pistola y me lo puso. Cuando me lo puso, mi otro hijo me jaló y me dice, ma, vamos a llevar a él, se está muriendo. Nosotros regresamos ahí. Mi hijo ya tenía la bala acá, ya estaba sangrando. Los últimos suspiros de mi hijo estaba dando. Cuando llegamos al hospital, mi hijo ya estaba muerto.
While the family concurs that the couple had a turbulent relationship, they somehow managed to work things out. Saturday, it seems, was one of those nights.
Su mujer acaba de tener nene, está con su mamá de ella. Su mujer le dijo, anda, buscamos una crema para el nene, en su casa. Pues mi hijo se fue. Cuando él llegó, dice que él oyó que están discutiendo. Y él agarró y lo dejó así, dice. Pero cuando él salió afuera, atrás estaba un pick-up. Él dice que, pero cuando él llegó, dice, mi hijo está comiendo sus burritos, porque voy a comprar sus burritos comiendo. Cuando ellos empezaron a discutir, él salió afuera. Cuando él salió, dice, la mujer ya le pegó su botellazo a mi hijo. Y le empezó a jalotear su pelo y él está sentado en la camioneta y ella está afuera. Y dice que después mi hijo se molestó y él salió, dice, y creo que le dio a ella. Cuando le dio a ella, dice, vino la otra vecina de al lado y entre ellos pues los separaron. Pues él dice, ya acabó, pues ya dejaron de discutir, se metieron dentro de la casa. Pero según dicen que allá estaba una de las hermanitas de ella, una que acaba de salir del hostel. Ahí estaba con su marido, su novio, no sé qué es. Porque el muchacho ya viene agarró a mi hijo y le dijo que lo va a pegar porque se anda metiendo. Y mi hermanita, mi hijo le dijo, ¿qué te está pasando? Pues esta es mi casa. Le dice, vamos a venir a mandarme aquí. Le dice así. ¿Sabes qué? Le dice, lo agarró, dice, le pescó y le dijo, ¿sabes qué? Espúmate, le dice. Busca donde el chamaco chutó y se fue. Porque él no conocía a mi otro hijo. Pues dice mi hijo que él vio que acabaron de discutir, pues quedó así, dice, rato otra vuelta, dice. Cuando llamó a él, que mejor que los vaya a buscar, porque siempre cuando mi hijo anda, que está tomando o algo, siempre que ellos viven en la misma casa, separados, pero en la misma. Él siempre llama a su papá, ven a buscarlo. Papá siempre va, lo traemos aquí duerme, al otro día él se va. Él ya sabe que esa es vida de él. Él le gustó así, peleé, pero yo no me metía con él. Yo lo aconsejaba y todo, pero
Esa tarde estaban embriagados.
él estaba tomando. Yo no voy a decir que no, sí estaba tomando.
¿Y siempre han tenido una vida así turbulenta?
Siempre se peleaban, se contentaban, puro así. Pero yo no me metía en su vida de ellos. Pero cuando nosotros miramos que a veces el chamaco ve las cosas más serias, ella agarra a su hermanito y se lo trae aquí. Y si él anda tomando en la calle, él queda borracho, él no va a buscar su casa. Él va a buscar casa de sus hermanos, o si no, se viene aquí, se duerme, al otro día ya se le pasó, se va a su casa. El hombre que disparó, ahí está escondido allá en otro lado del río. Que ni siquiera la policía hace para allá buscarlo. Ya les dijeron a dónde está el hombre. Gentes ven aquí en el río que va en el chamaco y llega con lancha, le lleva comida a su papá. Ya le dijeron a la policía no hace nada, nada. ¿Cómo la policía sabe que él se va a entregar hoy con abogado? ¿Cómo la policía sabe? Porque el policía ahí se paró, que estamos ahí, vino y habló y dice, el hombre dice que... ¿Cómo ellos saben? Porque ellos no van donde está el hombre y lo arrestan. Pero ellos, no sé si alguien nos está pagando a ellos porque no. La manera como murió mi hijo. Agarró mi hijo, como que yo sé, cerquita si usted sí. Cerquitita agarró mi hijo. Como que mi hijo fuera un animal. Mi hijo no es un animal. Si él se fue a meter y le dice, vaya, ¿qué está pasando? ¿Por qué pegaste a mi mujer? Les das un lapo, un trompazo, aunque mi hijo había andado con su ojo morado, pero no que me mate a mi hijo sin decir una palabra. Ojalá que hagan justicia, pero yo dudo que lo hagan. Pero a mí no me importa que si hacen justicia, pero ver de arriba. Nadie se escapa. Él tiene su abogado, yo tengo la mía, de arriba. A él yo no le voy a pagar. El de él sí. Él piensa que con abogado va a salir libre. Eso es lo que él piensa, por eso no se presenta, porque él dice, igual tengo mi abogado. ¿Qué te dan a entender? Como que él se va a entregar con abogado y el abogado él salga. Porque si fuera otro, fue hombre porque tire a mi hijo, o es pedazo de hombre porque se anda escondiendo. No es hombre. A mí es lo que más me duele porque fue la mano.
At today's police press briefing, the police department shared details of this incident that has left two families broken and at odds.
Okay, on Saturday, the 29th of July 2023, police responded to a shooting incident at Guinea Grass Village. Upon their arrival, they learned that the shooting victim, Juan Jael Jimenez, had been taken to the Northern Regional Hospital with gunshot injuries to the chest. Shortly thereafter, Jael Jimenez was pronounced dead at the Northern Regional Hospital. Investigation revealed that Jael Jimenez was having a domestic dispute with his wife, Dariane Bull, and at some point somebody called for Dariane Bull's father, named Derek Bull. Derek Bull came to the house and took out a firearm and fired a single shot, which caused a fatal injury to Jael Jimenez. Derek Bull is wanted at this time, and we have not been able to find him as yet.
What led to the fight?
They were having a domestic dispute. That is the information we have.
Was alcohol consumption involved?
We are not certain, no.
Has the investigation revealed that this could have been prevented, seeing that someone called Mr. Bull?
Again, they were having a domestic and somebody called for Derek Bull and he just came and shut jail.
Jimenez was the father of a 1-year-old baby girl. Coming up next, home invasion in Orange Walk leads to 3 injured. Stay tuned.
Special guest in the audience tonight, legendary record executive, Mr. Clive Davis.
My voice is gone. What? You start the show tonight. No talking back. I'm your mother.
There's a boy I know. He's the one I dream of.
What's your name again?
Whitney Elizabeth Houston.
Wake up!
It's on. It's on. Listen.
He really loves me.
My dream. Sing what I want to sing. Be how I want to be.
I say a prayer with every heartbeat.
Reach as big an audience as I can.
A common criticism of you, your music isn't black enough.
Look, I don't know how to sing black and I don't know how to sing white either. I know how to sing.
I might have just heard the greatest voice of her generation.
Maybe.
Maybe. It's got to have a hook.
A hook?
Yeah.
I'll give it a hook.
And now, the hottest match of the evening. Get ready for action! Here they come. Amazing! They're unstoppable, unbeatable. They have them on the ropes. The heat rises to the top. 1, 2, and 3. They're on fire. Chiladas. Fire up the taste of Belize with the new Chiladas crunchy tortilla taco chips in its hot chili flavor. Fiery habanero brings the heat. They're on fire. Chiladas. From Snackers, done right, done here.
I wanted to show them something that wasn't an illusion. Something that was real. Something that they could see and touch.
Humans and dinosaurs can't coexist. We created an ecological disaster.
Ellie Sadler.
Alan Grant.
You didn't come out all this way just to catch up now, did you?
You coming or what?
That's another plane, right?
Not exactly.
Don't move.
Appreciating the reality of aging hospital infrastructure countrywide, while bearing in mind the increasing risk of hurricanes and floods, this UP administration has ramped up efforts to secure capital for new hospital infrastructure to be established in strategic locations. Earlier this year, we were most pleased to secure a $32 million grant from our partner, the Republic of China, Taiwan, to build a new hospital in San Pedro to serve Ambergiski and Kikaka. $32 million. Again, the UDP, they claim they put it into their budget for about 3 years, boasting that they will build the San Pedro Hospital. It was never built. It is going to be built by the People's United Party government.
If you're lucky, no matter what life hands you, you can always count on your closest friends to be there. Oh, thank you. My purse was exhausted. We are all blissfully unaware when our lives are about to change.
Life is full of surprises.
I'm ready to lose my virginity.
Excuse me?
I got the list.
What list?
There's a whole brouhaha at school about this MILF list.
For real?
Our lunchtime fodder is not usually this lowbrow, I swear.
Really? Who have you been eating with?
It's a big step up for Che and me.
I've been having exit out of grief sex. It's just sex.
Through all the chance that's been out there, men have feelings too.
Life's too short not to try something new. And just like that, I realized some things are better left in the past. But maybe not everything.
Shortly after Saturday night's fatal shooting, 41-year-old Derek Bull disappeared in his F-150 pickup truck. It was not until this afternoon that he handed himself to police in the company of his defense attorney, Dickie Bradley. Bradley provided the family's position in regards to the fatal altercation.
Mr. Derek handed himself into the Orange Walk police station in regards to a most unfortunate situation where his son-in-law received a single gunshot wound and has died. And of course, any death is a very serious matter as a police investigation. This situation, I've been able to have a better idea what has transpired, and it appears to me, it sounds very, very much like another situation of domestic violence, which has turned out bad. In this case, the victim of the domestic violence is alive, but her common law has been the person who received a fatal gunshot wound. It sounds like it's either an accidental shot, because the firearm is it's like one caliber above a pellet gun. It's a little 22 if you were to actually see it, and you Google a 22. So smally bullet, you couldn't shoot a gunman in Belize City with that, because he would go for his gun and come back at you. It's a small little 22 bullet. That is the shot that caused the fatal situation. So my understanding from witnesses and from the common law, who has 2 young children, is that she was being beaten, she was being choked. Her sister had come on the scene and was trying to see if he could get the common law to stop beating her sister, but that didn't work, so she called her dad, and he was in his vehicle and came, and resulted in the shot. But the witness and the situation, it's not as if he went there and shot the person. The gun went off, and the young man has lost his life, no? It's a sad situation. So the investigator was kind enough to speak with me a few minutes. He's going to process the accused, and he will make available his statements and his own findings from visiting the area. Bear in mind that this happened after 8 o'clock on Saturday.
It was a deadly long holiday weekend here in Orange Walk, which saw 2 Orange Walkenians lose their lives. 3 others, however, are tonight lucky to be alive after a home invasion at a residence on San Roman Street in Trial Farm Village resulted in 3 persons being injured. According to police reports, the incident happened on Saturday night, resulting in 2 men being stabbed, while 1 female was also reportedly injured by the assailants. All 3 persons, we understand, were treated at the Northern Regional Hospital and released. At this time, we understand that 5 persons are detained, while police investigations into the matter continues. Today, we tried to speak with the victims of the incident, but they refused to comment. Opposition leader Shine Barrow today made the official move to file a no-confidence motion against Prime Minister John Briceño, which is expected to be heard at the next sitting of the House of Representatives. The motion, according to Barrow, comes following a number of inadequacies from the government and particularly the PM, starting with the Portico Definitive Agreement debacle. The motion of no confidence would require the support vote of some members from the government side of the House. While that support is unlikely, the leader of the opposition says he is hopeful.
Submitted today to the clerk of the House of Representatives, according to the standing orders, a private member's motion, which we will take a vote of no confidence on the Prime Minister of Belize and his government. Whether it is outlining the malfeasance, the nonfeasance of the Prime Minister in regards to the Portico Definitive Agreement, as has been listed out there, his cousin being the attorney for Portico Enterprises Limited, his Minister of State in the Ministry of Finance, and his Minister of Immigration have a law firm called Coe and Courtney, or Courtney and Coe, and they represent the CEO of Portico in his personal interests. And all of the allegations of nepotism, cronyism, self-enrichment that have engulfed the Briceño administration in relations to Portico. And you wonder why we have a violent crime problem. You wonder why we are now in a state of emergency, because the Belize Police Department cannot, led by Minister Kari Musa, led by John Briceño as the chair of the National Security Council, cannot contain crime. And I quote Prime Minister Briceño, a state of emergency is an admission of failure. You go to the healthcare, public healthcare system, they have failed us. Nurses, doctors, protests that they do not have essential supplies, medication, equipment to treat our people. High cost of living, high cost of energy, highest ever, 13% increase in June with the cost of living. So for all of these things, the Prime Minister of Belize has lost the confidence of the Belizean people, and a no vote is warranted at this time.
The UDP motion of no confidence will be a private member's bill that is supported by Standing Order 25, 26-2, and 31 of the Standing Orders of the House of Representatives, and by Section 37.4 of the Constitution of Belize, which would require the Prime Minister to resign if the motion succeeds. The Belize Tourism Board is reporting that the second annual Belize International Music and Food Festival, which took place over the long holiday weekend, was a huge success. While an official rundown of the weekend events has not yet been made available by the BTB, the festival, which hosted thousands of Belizeans and visitors, is being dubbed a raging success. Opposition leader Shine Barrow, during a press conference earlier today, however, called on the Minister of Tourism and the BTB to release an official rundown of the expenditure and proceedings of the event, which he says is hosted using taxpayers' dollars.
The UDP, the opposition UDP, feels very strongly about the lack of accountability when it comes to this Belize International Music and Food Festival. $1 million is a lot to spend on international artists. You have seen artists, I'm sure you've seen the video with the lead singer from the TLC band complaining. You've seen legendary artists such as Ernestine complaining about the treatment of the Belizean artists. So don't take $1 million of our taxpayer money to wine and dine the foreign artists and then treat our Belizean artists as if they are non-entities. Furthermore, it is important for a government that has formed government based on accountability, based on transparency, to give account of how the monies have been spent, so that we as the taxpayers that are funding this Belize International Music Festival can make a determination whether or not our money is being well spent. That money doesn't belong to Anthony Marler and his good friend John Marsden. It doesn't. That's not his slush fund. That is our money. The BTB is a quasi-government entity. Those are our taxpayer dollars. So we need to see why Costa Maya, which was a renowned event, international, bringing in so many different people, that was there for quite a long time. We need to measure why that was totally canceled. And the news that was given was that, oh, well, the Belize International Music and Food Festival would fill up the hotel rooms in San Pedro because it goes dormant around this time. Well, they moved it from San Pedro with no account as to why they moved it from San Pedro to Belize City. And Belize City has much less hotel rooms than San Pedro. San Pedro is one of the resort capitals, not Belize City. So why was that move made if the original thesis was to fill up the hotel rooms, right? So I know there was some ad that said, oh, we spent this, we spent that. No, we need a proper accounting. I believe we have sent a Freedom of Information request, never honored.
South Korean President Yoon Suk-yeol met with Prime Minister John Bresenio at the presidential office in Seoul on today to discuss various bilateral issues, including South Korea's bid to host the 2030 World Expo in the southern port city of Busan. President Yoon sought Belize's support for the Expo bid, emphasizing the growing tourism and cultural exchange between the two nations. Prime Minister Bresenio expressed interest in South Korea's technical assistance in digitalizing Belize's land transaction management system and establishing an international electronic identification certificate system. Bresenio also extended gratitude to Yoon for South Korea's health, education, and development aid during the COVID-19 pandemic, signaling the strengthening ties between the two nations. Both leaders agreed to enhance trade and investment and collaborate in various domains such as agriculture, public peace maintenance, and electronic government. The meeting marked an important step in expanding the partnership and the shared interest between South Korea and Belize. Prime Minister Briceño's visit to South Korea was at the invitation of Busan, emphasizing the city's significant role in international relations. The collaboration between the two nations highlights their commitment to fostering global connectivity and sustainable development. The World Expo bid, if successful, could bring further attention and investment to South Korea's southern port city, fostering growth and innovation in the region. Around the globe, World Breastfeeding Week is celebrated from August 1st to the 7th. This year's theme, Enabling Breastfeeding, Making a Difference for Working Parents, speaks to strengthening the capacity to protect, promote, and support breastfeeding across all levels of society. The Ministry of Health and Wellness says that this is an opportunity to advocate for essential maternity rights. Working women must be given basic maternity provisions equating to robust breastfeeding support when returning back to work. Stakeholders or partners can advocate for best practices for workplace-related breastfeeding support across different sectors and can promote actions to ensure a successful breastfeeding environment for all working women, the ministry noted. The ministry also urged policymakers and employers to ensure employment-related discrimination against women during and after pregnancy does not occur. This can include flexible work arrangements for women returning to work, as well as championing women's rights in the workplace. Breast milk provides the best nutrition for babies for proper growth and development while strengthening their immune response. Exclusive breastfeeding is encouraged for the first 6 months of life, and along with the introduction of home foods, its continuation for up to 2 years. Additionally, breastfeeding also provides health benefits for mothers by protecting them from cancer, reducing the risk of postpartum depression, and promoting the loss of extra baby weight gained from pregnancy, the ministry added. In collaboration with partners, UNICEF, PAHO, and INCAP, the ministry says that it will engage in activities to highlight the importance of breastfeeding and coordinate activities countrywide to support this cause. Key activities this year involve reactivating the breastfeeding committees in all districts and conducting sensitization sessions for employers to support working moms. Other activities include conducting educational sessions within the various communities, social media campaigns, breastfeeding training, and support for exclusive breastfeeding moms. And that's the news. We invite you to join us for another newscast on Wednesday, August 2nd here on Ctv3 and Fiesta FM 106.7. Remember that to read a text version of the news, you can visit our website at ctv3belizenews.com. You can also log on to our Facebook page for current stories at facebook.com/ctv3belizenews or our YouTube channel at Ctv3 News BZ. Remember to wash your hands and remain safe. From all of us here at Ctv3 News, thank you for watching and listening. Good night.